I'm back. We're back. And the French pack is out. And one of the mods has been hacked. And we're gonna do a city. Yeah. So, yeah, we're doing a new series. And also that title card. I sincerely hope that it turns out better later on in the series. Because I guess by the time the German pack comes out, hopefully the city will be finished. And by that point, you'll probably hopefully be able to see the difference. But yeah, so this is going to be a city. I'm just laying out the first roads. To quote Strict Toaster so many years ago with his Nidal series, none of this is finished, even though most of this is probably going to be the finished product. So don't nag me about it, because I'll definitely change it later on. And yeah, what else? So I'm definitely going to utilize a lot of jump cuts for when I finish certain parts of the road network. And that's kind of primarily because I don't have good enough editing software to be able to make time-lapse. Not even software, I just don't have enough storage on any of my devices to be able to make jump cuts like that. And so, finally, I definitely did start off this video by saying that this was going to probably be a French pack city. So why on earth have I just now placed one of the vanilla assets? And that's because this isn't going to be a French city. And so quickly, before I make any quality promises, there aren't good enough assets to be able to create the type of city exactly what I want to imagine. However, I think now with the French pack, it's close enough, and we're close enough to be able to create somewhat of a slightly Belgian city. And I say that with a sigh because it's probably not going to turn out how I imagine and how you're imagining right now. And I bet probably we all have the imagination that a Belgian city is basically the same as a Dutch city. And yeah, in a lot of ways it probably feels like that. I mean, it probably couldn't be Amsterdam, but it could probably be close to The Hague or something, but it's Antwerp. However, once we get into Wallonia in South Belgium, we get assets which look pretty similar to the French assets. And I'm probably not going to take inspiration from Charleroi. And most of my inspiration is probably going to be from Brussels, which, big thing, red roofs, which the French pack does not have. And there's no recolor in them, which is kind of strange, so I guess we're going to have to use our imagination. So I guess, in short, Belgium doesn't have a style, and of the styles that it does have, we don't have anywhere near good enough assets. And I think this area up here, because I'd say the best way to make a city which is so eclectic and I'm using big words. What's another big word? Neapolitan, yeah. In such a Neapolitan city, I'd say the best way to do it is by doing it by imagining a history. So I guess in the history, there was obviously that area, which has the old small buildings because all the merchants were rushing to build a house in the growing port. Wow, this is easy. But in this area up here is when the king or the government or whatever stepped in and decided to build an upper city full of rich luxury houses. So then the better off merchants wouldn't have to live in the cramped lower city. So yeah, I'd say for that matter, this area up here would be great to have some taller buildings and some actual French assets, which makes my life a lot easier. Our next issue is the service buildings. So, the French pack obviously only has proper French service buildings. So we're going to have to figure out how to somewhat fit most of them in. And if you're keen-eyed, you can already see that I'm trying to put in this fire. I'd say this is probably where the old actual... Because obviously it would go the first harbour and stuff and quay was here. And then it would have moved here as slightly larger ships, and then the industrial harbour will probably be over here, or the port at that point. But in this case, I'd say they would probably have some pretty old looking harbour buildings, which I'd say the French pack probably would be a good fit for. And then this building, this one probably, could you even use it? Oh, well, I've just answered my own stuff. We can use it as a hotel at the back of the train station. This game gets easy once you start rambling. Never mind, the heights do not line up whatsoever and it looks kinda horrible. This building, I'm gonna bring it up on Google Maps. The building, probably in my eyes, would work as something similar to this, which is in Bruges, also in Belgium. I never knew this, but what? Okay, yeah, just a sort of... I mean, this building obviously is quite new. I mean, you can see the construction on Google Maps, can't you? Yeah, head station. You can see the construction on Google Maps, so obviously it's pretty new, but a more outdated version of this building, probably from 1980s, I'd say, is pretty similar. Wow. I'd say it suits the style pretty well. My new issue is I struggle to see where this building can go. Although in Brussels they do have a lot of kind of 1930s buildings, which I'd say if we have a focal point somewhere here to take the eyes away from that, I'd say that works. Okay. This game doesn't really have any focal points. I kind of mean a church or something. So I guess that's going to be an issue, but that's an issue for another time, because we're building the upper city. See, this building is way too French, although in Brussels they do have a palace which we could use that for. At this point, I'd probably say that the majority of the buildings in this upper city, I've placed them now. So I guess our next course of action is to detail most of this area up. I do still need to place... I need to cap it off on this end. Yeah, so in large part, as you can see, my detailing is place so many trees that you can't actually see the buildings and you can't actually see the ground. And does it work? Not really. But am I happy with it? Yeah. I don't know what else there is really much to do. That, I'll fix up. I'll fix that later. I don't know. I mean, I would do cinematics, but there's so many empty spots. I think all that we can get is like this shot. I guess we can get... I'll figure it out.